There we go. Look at that.
That was
What's
so.
up,
That was just
LinkedIn?
so. That was so zen.
It was
I
so
want
sad.
everyone to be zen because, dude, you're about to drop massive bombs on everyone around video. So now let's just start off the gate. What's up, everyone on LinkedIn? Really, really excited. I've got my good friend, Bob Regnerus. Bob, am I saying that right? Because I've known you for a long time, and I probably
You
said your
just.
name like 10,000 different
I may
ways.
just have to leave the room.
I know. Regnerus, right? No.
No.
Jesus.
Spell it out. Take a look at it.
Regnerus.
Thank you, Rachel. See, that's
Why-
why
This
we
is
have
why-
Rachel on.
I'm like, I've said it 10,000 times. I'm like, oh, I got this. I know exactly how Bob's last name
It's
says.
just you're
And then
so nervous.
Yes,
He's
just
such
relax.
a good LinkedIn Live.
because it's Bob. I love Bob. So
I have this calming influence on people. You shouldn't be nervous around me.
well, everyone, we're really excited. Bob, I've known for a long time. He is, the epitome, the expert on, video marketing and really being able to create and be able to share and how to be able to engage your audience on video. And, so really, Bob, before I kind of go through and just ramble on about who you are and what you do, then please tell everyone, a little bit about your background, and then we'll kind of get into what we're talking about today.
So good to be here with you both. Awesome. I love just talking about what we do. And I'm Bob Regnerus. I live in the southwest suburbs of Chicago, born and raised here. I've been married for 29 years. I've got two amazing daughters, both in college and much smarter than their dad. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been on my own for the last 22 years. And the last 8 years have been spent in the Facebook and video world. And what I do really in my spare time is coach high school basketball. So if anyone knows me, they know that my whole platform is about fundamentals and coaching. So if you spend any sort of time around me, you're going to understand what I'm all about. So one of my mentors and says, Bob, you ooze dad and coach energy all the time. So if you spend any time around me, you're probably going to pick that up because I'm here to lift people up. And I love what we are able to do with technology to make that happen.
So Bob, what exactly what does Feedstories do? Can you tell them a little bit about what your company is about, Coach?
Yeah, Feedstories is in essence a video marketing company, and that's just kind of a surface level description. What we help people do is monetize their funnels using video. Video happens to be a media that we choose. Video is the way that we communicate these days. I mean, here we are in video. This is a form of video. Our mobile phones are mobile video studios. And we developed a way to help you monetize your funnels, monetize your business with video, using things like Facebook and LinkedIn and email and all kinds of various platforms. So, how do you effectively communicate your message using video? How do you create rapport with people? We have a process that we work with you to pull stories out of your head, get them on film, and deliver the right content to the right audience at the right time.
Got it. So critical. So critical. And we know that video is the most pure form. It's multisensory and allows people to hear you, watch you, really understand your mannerisms. So, there's no surprise that we've seen video reels on Instagram and YouTube explosion and LinkedIn Live explosion, right? It's not just the platforms that are guiding, kind of in helping people do video, but it's because the people were really gravitating towards video as consumers in order to understand who we're purchasing from or inspired by. So that's awesome.
But Rachel, I mean, here's the whole thing. And Bob, I just got to stop everyone right now because look, I've done a lot of video. I'm still to this day, and my team gets upset with me. I feel more comfortable next to my amazing wife, Rachel, right? Being on time, talking to someone like yourself, talking to an expert. But some of the biggest things I think most people have to overcome is the anxiety of being on video, right? How do we actually become more comfortable being on camera? Because most times, let's say it's Instagram Live, right? I feel like I'm just talking at myself and maybe I don't like myself as much. So like, how do we actually get past that kind of thing?
Yeah, so it's pretty intimidating to stare into a lens and be natural. I think we've all experienced that in some way. Is like, they point a camera at you and you're like, smile, go, and you're like, we like to say actors and newscasters are really good at doing this. They can talk to the camera as if it's a person, but
Right.
most people don't know how to do that, because how do you the camera actually like shrinks your energy. I don't know if people realize that. Like you really need to like push your energy out, and the camera tends to focus it on that little tiny lens. Like I'm looking directly in the lens right now, and it kind of takes your energy. And so the best way we found, and this is the way we do 90% of our video, is we use conversations. So we do conversational or interview style video. So what we do is we have a director who's off camera. So this looks a little bit like an Oprah interview, where
Okay.
Oprah is asking the question and the person is comfortable. They're answering questions to Oprah. And oh, by the way, there's a camera capturing the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So what we love to do is, like, if we're going to position our subject, we're going to position them kind of like this. And so my director is going to be sitting here, and I'm making eye contact with my director. And this doesn't have to be like an official director. Like if you're doing video alone, you could have a
I
conversation
can put a
with
picture
somebody.
of Rachel up, right? I can
Yeah,
just put it on the wall.
exactly. That's one of the tricks we do, by the way, is, if you want to do like a face to camera, put a picture of somebody behind it. Or, the whole idea is we spend most of our days talking about things we know. We talk about our business day in and day out. But when we put a camera on, all of a sudden we're unable to talk. Well, we need to replicate what we do day in and day out. So being comfortable on camera really comes down to, can I have a conversation with somebody and capture it on video? And so whatever you need to do to kind of trick yourself into doing that, whether you actually have a person behind the camera talking to them, or you use somebody who's professional at doing that, that's the great way to produce video, because conversation is natural. Like the reason this video is going so well is because we're talking, we're looking at each other, we're having a conversation. Even though you're in Austin, I'm in Chicago, like we're having good energy, and it's going to flow because we're having a conversation versus trying to make a LinkedIn marketing video.
Yes, I love that advice. That's actually super smart. And helpful for people to know. Maybe like you can just have your friend sit there and ask you questions, if they can obviously hire you. Hey Bailey. Yes, everybody that's watching. Hi,
Mary's
Belize
on
are here
YouTube.
with Bob. Oh, she's on YouTube. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Definitely write in your questions. We are talking video marketing and how do we storytell through video. So write those in. We will get to here, or even afterwards, we will follow up in the comments. So that's really helpful on how can we overcome anxiety on video. The other big piece of this is storytelling, Bob, right?
Yeah.
Great. Now we've kind of soothed our nerves and somebody's asking us questions, but how do we actually tell a story, convey a message so that when somebody's scrolling and clicking through, that they will stay and actually watch and listen?
Well, nobody really wants to sit down and hear a lecture. I mean, they really don't. And if you think about some of the great orators over human history, they were storytellers. So um, I'll kind of I'll eat my own cooking here. So people ask, like, so why video? Like, Bob, why are you talking about video? You don't own a video camera. I don't own a video camera. I own a webcam and I have an iPhone. How can you run a video company? Well, a number of years ago, I was in Austin, Texas, right? I didn't know you guys then, but I was in Austin, Texas, and as you know, Facebook headquarters is there, where the ad people
Right.
spend their days. It's not on the West Coast, so I was there because I'm a Facebook advertiser, and I was there, and we were hearing about like the latest and greatest at Facebook and Instagram, and all they talked about was video. It was, we're a video company now. We're going to emphasize video. Video is more engaging. We're going to prioritize video. It was like, come on, if you didn't hear what they said, you really missed the point. what I did was I on the break, I went downstairs, I went outside on the sidewalk, I picked up the phone and I called my now business partner and then friend, Brandon Boyd, and said, Brandon, this is what I just heard. And we essentially started Feedstories from the sidewalk in front of Facebook headquarters, right? Now, the reason we did that is not like, oh, this is like we realized how the media was going to be prioritizing video. And we already knew how important video was because we had been using that in our advertising before that. But now that the media, the big platform is saying, we're going to prioritize video, we jumped on it. So whenever somebody asks me about that, I tell that story because it frames the context of how does a Facebook guy get to be on a LinkedIn Live with the Lees and talk about video? Well, it's because that's where the media is going. And so the basis of most of our advertising these days is video based.
Right.
And so that's how I can talk about it. Now, the fact is that we can stand in front of a camera and kind of say like, here's all this knowledge, and we could just dump knowledge on people. But as you know, people don't listen, right? And if you like, if you're a church going person, you know, like the way the pastor keeps you engaged is he or she will tell stories. And what stories do is they re-engage you, they get you centered on a point, and then you're able to kind of hear the lesson. And then that's just kind of the way we're wired, right? So if you're doing a video and you want to get across a point, what you want to do is tell a story, a personal story or a client story that demonstrates the point. So if you're a functional medical doctor, all right, and you want to talk about the importance of adding magnesium to your diet, okay, you're not going to like tout, all right, magnesium, and you're going to give all the do that. But what I want you to do is tell a story about a client who is magnesium deficient, had muscle spasms and cramps, and they realized through testing that, you know, they couldn't walk. They were having trouble playing with their kids. They were cramping all the time. And then we went in, we discovered this, we added magnesium to their diet, and then the cramps were relieved and they were able to have a great lifestyle again. Now, if I told you magnesium solves muscle cramping, that might stick. But what does stick is the story I told about the client we work with who couldn't play with her kids and all of a sudden can now because they found out they were magnesium deficient. So the difference there is that we're humanizing, we're talking about results, and that's how we make the connection. That's how you transmit learning to somebody, is you tell the story, either a personal story or a story of somebody you're connected with.
Dude, I mean, 100%. I hope everyone's listening because, like, you and I talk about this all the time. I mean, this is what we do at Standard Authority too, being able to connect that human side. And it's so prevalent, not just in video, but everywhere, right? Like we're on LinkedIn Live right now, but we are, you know, restreaming out to a couple of other platforms as well too, around YouTube and Facebook. But, you know, the big thing that I took from that is stop talking about yourself. No one wants to see it. Like if I'm in the room, Bob, and everyone's like, oh, there's Josh again. That dude never shuts up about LinkedIn. You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, if you look through your LinkedIn, especially, I mean, let's just talk about LinkedIn. If you kind of scroll through the LinkedIn newsfeed, I mean, it's just a whole stream of people pushing concepts at you. And at some point you get tone deaf to that. The things that I get the most engagement with, as you know, Joshua, are things that are more personal and have more human element to them. So that, you know, the clients you work with, I know you encourage this human element, and whether it's an image or video, like it's this constant stream of information. How do you interrupt that? Well, you got to do something interesting, and humans are wired. We're just wired for story. I mean, you know, you think back to 1977, the most famous movie of all time, Once Upon a Time in a Galaxy Far, Far Away. Like that's like you lean in, right? Like we know that's Star Wars, right? And look what that's become. But it's an engaging story. It's an engaging story, and that's what humans are connected with. That's why they listen. That's how they learn. It's how they learned through our history.
Now, I knew that was Star Wars. Did you know it was?
Yes, I knew.
Okay. I always got to make sure too. Sometimes Rachel and I go through movies, Bob, and I'm like, oh my God, this movie. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't even, you know, paying attention like that. So,
but I think what you're talking about, So the human element and humanizing our brands, our personal brands, our service, but really resonating with the pain point. And we talk about that a lot. But I think that people don't understand what we mean when we say, you need to solve somebody's problems. What is the pain point? Like, that is the whole point of actually marketing. And then how do you figure out what that pain point is and then story tell through it? And so what you just showed was that pain of not being able to be with your child, right? And so there's really this emotional pain point. Like when we say pain points, we're talking about the stress, the overwhelm, the sadness. Like it is the feelings that people are having.
Get from that.
And you're pinning that.
Yeah.
And then once they're in, then you can bring in the solution, and that sort of arc, you know, in a story is really creative, Bob. It's actually, most people don't get it. And so I love what you're talking about here and how to do that.
Well, this is how video ties into advertising. So I can pretty much diagnose why a campaign is not working. And, you know, obviously I spend a lot of time in Facebook. So here's what happens is we get so jazzed up about our solution. We don't realize that people on Facebook are essentially unaware or and very rarely problem aware. I'm talking about a concept, by the way. You know, high school basketball, we deal with fundamentals day in and day out. I'm dealing with a concept that was developed by Eugene Schwartz in 1966. It's a customer awareness timeline. And essentially what we do is when we create video, when I say right content to the right audience at the right time, we are following the customer awareness journey that Eugene Schwartz laid out in the 60s. Like, this is a fundamental concept. But what I see, Ron, is we are hammering people with solutions in the Facebook newsfeed or the LinkedIn newsfeed or on YouTube who are essentially unaware. Like, we haven't first addressed their problem. So, like, okay, if you are in a practice of delivering this type of solution, you have to first address the problem. All right. If you're not addressing the problem and hooking them and saying, like, hey, this is a problem. Now, if you don't have that problem, politely, like, we're going to let them go away, because advertising is about either attracting those that we want or distracting and funneling away people we don't. Like, we don't want to market to everybody. We want to market to the people that we can actually solve problems for. And so what we're doing is we're essentially saying, hey, do you have this problem? We got to get that hook. We want that signal that says, yeah, I have that problem. All right. And now we're going to start communicating to them. Now we move them into what's called a retargeting campaign, and we start to nurture them. We develop rapport through video, and we talk about, all right, this is what's happening in your life. These are the types of things that can happen if you solve the problem. And oh, by the way, we have solutions to that problem. And here are some people that have worked with us and have transformed their lives after solving the problem with us. Like, that's the right type of funnel that you want to have, not hammering them with solutions, because I mean, no wonder you have like a less than 1% conversion rate, is because you're just trying to reach people that are completely problem aware, and you're wasting so much money.
So true. So true. And I mean, I hope everyone, if you're getting value from this, if you're watching us live, you're watching it afterwards, you know, make sure you comment yes, because I want to make sure too, because this is just a preview, right? Like, of what Bob and I are talking about. Like, at later this month, well, actually not this month, next month.
Yeah.
We're actually, I forget what day we're at right now.
We're the 30th. We're almost there.
We're almost there.
It's almost July.
July 28th.
July 28th. We've got your next event coming up where it's a live Zoom, really kind of diving into all these things and doing almost like a mini training to really take everyone through. So
yeah,
for free.
We've done a couple of these. We call them video Q&As. And we kind of had it as an open forum. And what we've been doing is actually evolving it. So next month, we're going to basically spend about the first 20 minutes of that call talking about a particular topic. And we haven't really zoned in on what that topic is yet. So we want you to sign up for the event. We're going to let you know the topic in about a week. But what we found is there's this kind of lack of awareness of like, it comes down to two things. People don't know what to say on video, and they don't know what to do with it. So we're going to break that down and really get into the pieces of, like, how can you understand what you need to say, and what can you do with the video? So we're going to kind of month by month take people through and talk about the different ways. All right, how do I need to communicate here? How do I need to communicate here? And now once I produce this thing, what do I do with it? We're going to break that down into more detailed chunks for people so that they could comprehend, like, okay, I'm a therapist. I'm an e-commerce brand. Like, how do I take these pieces, put them into video, and explain those things, and communicate with my customers along their journey effectively? So we're going to be much more structured with it. We've had some great questions the past couple months, but now we really want to zone in. We're going to start making a really big splash and help people get video done.
Now, it's super excited about
Awesome.
it. I mean, I
There's
know
nothing really more important, I think, as a marketer right now. Influencer, if you're trying to build your influence, social following, I mean, this is so critical and very difficult for most people to do, especially when you're in the business and you're not a marketer, right, Bob? It's like, but thank you, Sam, for being here. Tracy has a great question. How long should a video be?
Yeah, so that's a very, very common question. And so the worst answer to that is it depends. So I'm not going to say it depends, but here's what we found, and I'm going to give you some generalities. So if you are going after a cold audience, we call this top of funnel. You really want to be succinct. We find that 30 to 60 seconds is about the optimal amount of time, because all we're doing at top of funnel is getting attention. We're not trying to sell them. We're not trying to build rapport. All we're doing is getting attention. We want hand raises, right? So we want to call out the problem we solve. We want to find out all the people over here that don't know about us yet that have this problem. We want to move them to the next phase where we can create videos that we call nurturing, middle of funnel, whatever you want to call it, where we make videos that are 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes long. Right? Like, oh, how can you create a video that long? It's because we've identified people that have the problem, and people that have these problems will engage with you, and they will watch you as long as you're engaging, as long as you're moving them along so that their problem can be solved. So in general, 30 to 60 top of funnel, about a minute to 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, middle of funnel. Bottom of funnel, all like everything's out the window. We've got videos that are 20 minutes. We have some 40-minute videos, bottom of the funnel, right? You have to make a video as long as you need to communicate the value and get people to move. You want to move them towards your action.
And that, I mean, ultimately, to pull people through to your funnel, right? That's what building advocacy and brand fans, your super fans, right? Building your tribe. And we talk about this a lot, right? It's not just about you're getting your influence. Being an influencer starts building them in, but what really people that matter a ton are that bottom, the people that are willing to watch the 20-minute video, because those are the people with long customer lifetime value. Those are the people that are going to keep on buying. They're going to promote you. They're going to advocate on your behalf. And so it's so important. You're just bringing up so many important things here that you have to think about this funnel and really have content for each kind of placement. I'm a very handy person. Wherever somebody is, right, in the funnel to pull.
I'll move.
Just clear space.
You have me excited, Bob, because I really I've created quite a bit of video on behalf of corporate brands, and then if we are working on our own video content, you have me thinking about a whole bunch of stuff right now, and actually stuff that we're not doing right.
So we see so many, like Bob. I mean, dude, you've worked with some of the best out there, just like we have as well too, and the biggest thing is they think they've got all these video strategies, but they're so just cold. And I'm like, can I just get some raw, especially top of funnel, as you're talking about 30, 60 seconds where you're just connecting with your audience. You're not pitching, you're not selling. I don't want to see a freaking commercial, because that's what I think I'm going to see. I just want to be able to connect with that audience. And I mean, even the best people, you and I see it every single day, have a hard time being able to just connect.
Yeah, and I think that's why we're advocates for having somebody help you. Like just yesterday, we were working with some mentors of ours to help us with some communication points. It's like doctors can't do surgery on themselves, right? I mean, you could sit there and try on your own to talk about your practice, your business, but it's much better to have somebody pull it out of you. So, I mean, we're really advocates in the Q&A interview style format, because if you get somebody asking you questions, they have insights. Like just this conversation, the way we've like we didn't practice this, right? This is all organic. I mean, we had a couple questions we had prepared, but we had no idea where this was going, and we created some real great value here. All right. And fortunately we've had this recorded, so we could use this again. And I think that's the beauty of conversational style video, is where people are asking genuine questions which other people have. So this is going to be useful not just to the person asked the question, but hundreds and thousands of people that will get to see this video later are going to get the same question answered that's already like bouncing around in their head.
100%.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, everybody, this has been such an amazing conversation. We will drop the link for your next Q&A where you're going to deep dive into this. It's on July 28th on Zoom. So you'll be able to see Bob. I think your partner as well, Brandon, will be on that.
Yeah, both of us will be on. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to try to get it on our calendars too, because I'm quite interested. This has been such a fantastic conversation.
Wait, you're going to hang up on, I'm not done yet. I have more questions for Bob.
There's more questions?
Well, yeah.
We're at our 30-minute mark.
No. I need to get, I gotta get one more. Get one more.
Oh, no.
Switching it up, Bob.
I need like 2 more seconds, because I'm more excited looking at the video this way, right? Look, Ron's excited. I mean, like this is what we want to be able to see. So, real quick, one last thing to be able to just whet everyone's appetite, right? So best advice, the first one best advice you can give to an entrepreneur marketer thinking about creating video content. Like, what's that one thing?
This was a good question. I did forget.
Like, I'm sorry. Like,
this is the good part about having somebody.
I got to give everyone at least something before they leave, because they're going to go, okay, what are the other ones?
You're right. Okay, best advice. One tip.
So let me blow your mind. Start from the bottom up. Start from the bottom up.
So like a song.
When we talk about when we talk about creating all these assets, where everybody starts is top of funnel, and they make the mistake and they start selling top of funnel. Like what you really need to do is build your bottom of the funnel first, then build your middle of funnel, then build your top of funnel. Because ultimately, right now, whether you're completely new or you've been around, you have some sort of organic flow coming in, whether it's referrals from LinkedIn, organic searches. Like, you want to get your bottom of funnel set first so that you have a conversion mechanism in place. Like, what good is it to spend all this time and money on top of funnel? Then you turn on this funnel and you realize, like, oh my goodness, we have all this stuff dropping through the bucket and we have nothing to catch them. So when I wrote my book, I wrote that like early on, like chapter 2, start with the bottom. We talk about building the bottom first. I think so many people uber focus on top of funnel and cold traffic, and they pay no attention to where actually the money is made bottom of the funnel, right? Yeah. The money's made there. So build that. Craft your sales message, craft your conversion mechanism. Then think about, how do I need to nurture somebody to get to my conversion mechanism? And once you do that, you're going to be really clear about, okay, now what problems do I solve? And you could create really good top of funnel content and knock that out quickly. The hard work is building at the bottom. So start there, do the hard work first, and then do the easy stuff later.
Dude, that's so counterintuitive. Like, what everyone's always like, oh, well, just pitch and go on there and sell. If you close a whole bunch of people, then just build it as you jump off the cliff. And then that puts everyone in such a quandary of going, okay, I mean, like Rachel and I have had this conversation so many times. So man, I love that. That is awesome. And look, that's just one tip. Like, Bob, I know for a fact that you're going to be dropping knowledge like that and really creating so much on this next community call. So let's make sure everyone joins us. And, other than that, Rachel, anything else you have for Bob today?
No, you closed us out. Thank you so much, Bob. We are going to be on Clubhouse later on today, y'all. Topic is around your career journey, working it with passion and purpose. So if you're interested in joining, that's 4 p.m. Central with Work Your Brand. We will drop the link in there. And then we will be on Clubhouse Friday, 11 a.m. Central, LinkedIn Authority Accelerator. And we are talking about LinkedIn events. So we do a power hour session. We are always here for you. We're on and off. And Bob, this has been such a great conversation. I'm excited to bring more people onto these interviews.
Yeah.
And we will see you at your next event.
Well, Rachel and Joshua, you've been really invaluable. I've been working with you guys on humanizing LinkedIn with me for the last 6-7 months. We've done more to help clarify who we are and communicate well. You guys are real experts on that. I appreciate like your leadership and asking great questions and always being encouraging. So if anyone's thinking of like, how do I communicate well on LinkedIn? Man, there's no better organization than Standout Authority. So I appreciate you guys and appreciate you giving me a little bit of time on your platform to talk about what I'm passionate about.
100%, Bob. I have no doubt that our fans are going to be asking to be able to have you on more often, because it's just with the way LinkedIn's going, video is going to be such a crucial piece of everything moving forward with some of the new features that are coming out on LinkedIn. So, man, brother, I appreciate you, love you, and we will see you soon.
Awesome. See you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Bob.